Good evening. I'm Rashan Broadnax.
Why are you looking over there?
Okay, where am I supposed to be looking?
Same place you've been looking every side.
Oh, okay.
I would have done the same thing. Four, three, two.
Good evening. I'm Rashan Broadnax.
I'm Sylver Logan Sharp.
I'm Dawn Dickerson.
I'm Jeffrey Brown.
I'm Alvin King, and this is We Speak. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to We Speak. Again, my name is Alvin King, and I am so happy to be back on set, on the We Speak set. I don't know if many of you know it or not, but this is our, some say four, but I'm going to say our fifth season on the show. And again, I'm happy to be here. Tonight, we have a terrific panel with us. I have to tell you, though, your girl Shayna Taylor and your boy Ernest Collins and your girl Riley Knox are not here, but they will be back. But tonight they're doing their thing, and they're not going to be on set. Tonight's show is all about personality. It's called the Personality Test. Many of you have written into us to ask us to bring that show back. We did it a couple of seasons ago. So tonight with our new panel members, Dawn, Sylver, and Jeffrey. And he's not a new member, but he's coming back with a new title. Mr. Dr. Rashan Broadnax. Can we give it to him, ladies and gentlemen? He is now a doctor, okay? That's right. Degrees in the house, okay? So our personality test show is really things that we're going to ask, I'm going to ask about you. And we hope that our answers will inspire, will encourage, and hopefully motivate some of you to be better than you are. So my first question to the panel members, what makes you? What makes you so fabulous? What makes you, Dr. Broadnax?
What makes me fabulous? What makes me unique? I would just say it's, the total makeup. It's a total creative makeup. I have always been into the arts, and I take little facets of that, from all the training that I've had, and it kind of creates the person and the personality that you see. So it's music, it's a little bit of fine art, it's sewing, design, all of those things make up the person that people see.
Right. Thank you. How about you, Dawn?
I think what really makes me special is just my ties to DC and my affinity to DC, and having grown up in the city during a time where Marion Barry was the mayor, I think has had a really unique, given me a really unique perspective. So I think that's sort of what makes me a little bit special.
Sylvie, Jeffrey?
Well, I would like to think that I describe myself as being three-dimensional at a minimum, and I live in color. You know what I mean? I'm a bit bold. I'm a bit daring. I have my shy and demure moments. They're fleeting, but they're there. And I think to echo some of what you said, it's definitely the combination of where I come from, where I've been, and what I've grown into. But I'd like to think of my everyday self as someone that's dimensional and different and cautious, but daring.
Cautious but daring.
You know what I mean?
I have to say I agree with you on many levels because I know you. How about you, Jeffrey?
I would say my family upbringing. I've been raised around a bunch of old souls. I'm very thankful for that. I come from a family of 12 kids, 6 aunts, 6 uncles, and they're all, well, the youngest is about 60. So you can imagine all of the wisdom and the teachings and the upbringings I've been blessed to be a part of. And I would like to think of myself as a mercy shower. I give myself in everything that I do. And I'm always a good listening ear when it comes to people with problems. So I think of myself as an unlicensed therapist.
Okay.
And I just give, and I give selflessly, and I don't look for anything in return.
Well, when I thought about, thank you, Jeffrey, when I thought about asking you this question, I was thinking about myself, also, and like, oh, okay, what am I going to say after they say what they're going to say? But I think what truly makes me special is that, I didn't come from a lot. I came from, I wasn't born with this silver spoon in my mouth. Nothing against people who are, but I didn't have what a lot of people look at me and think that I have. And if there was any truth to the saying that you don't look like what you've been through,
Amen.
I am one of those persons who's a true testament to that. And because of that, I would say that what makes me special is that I am consistent. I've become, especially at this point in my life, I think I'm a very consistent person. So that's part of what makes me special, especially to a lot of people that say things about me that I can't see. Okay, so there we go. How would any of you describe yourself in one word?
Blessed. That's
Okay.
you know. just
Okay.
blessed.
Okay.
Blessed.
Okay.
One word.
Okay.
Blessed. I mean, we could use other adjectives. You know, I could say fabulous and flamboyant and over the top, and but blessed that I get to be fabulous and over the top, and I have opportunities to flex my fabulosity muscle, if you will.
Well, yeah, I'm going to ask you. I mean, you did say blessed, and at the end of the day, there should just be a period at the end of that sentence. It's done.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like yourself, you started to talk about why you're blessed, and I'm going to ask you: was that something that you have said throughout your entire life, or was there a moment when you said, "Whew," it was like, okay, I am blessed?
Yeah, that definitely came later in life, knowing, because I think as a young person, you don't get to really know the difference yet until you've lived a little and you've done some things and you've fallen a few times. But grace.
Right.
But grace.
And grace as a friend.
And so there you start to go,
Okay.
all right. Thank you for the blessing. And I think that comes with maturity. There's no way you can know. You haven't done anything yet. You have to get somewhere. You have to do some things. You have to have some experiences. And then, and I think if you have any sort of, connection to the Creator, to the higher power, God, Jesus, or whoever that may be for you, it's the blessing. For me, I'm a child of God. I love God. I love Jesus. So I know that my Savior, for the word blessed, you know what I mean? That's not lucky. I didn't say lucky. You know what I mean? That said blessed, and there's a difference.
Sylver's getting ready to take us to a whole nother.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to,
it's okay.
churchy, but,
No, it's okay. It is really okay, but you getting ready to take us to another talk show. So I'm going to go ahead and, because she didn't already say, like I said, blessed, there's a period at the end of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the next question, if you all don't mind. Is everybody okay? Okay, do you have, this is all about personality, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to ask this question. What are the top 3 things that you cherish in life that you can just spew out right now?
Family.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you?
It would definitely be my son. I mean, to be more specific in terms of family. It's just a he and I kind of thing, and that seems to work for us right now. So, yeah, it would definitely be my child.
It'll be your child?
My health.
Your health?
Wow. I would gather up everything y'all just said. 'Cause all of those are right there. But I'm gonna pull in on the health one as well, because that thing right there is serious.
That is
and
serious.
you start to really you understand that more too as you continue to live. You understand how important your health is, and that is top. Without it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to say, well, I said 3, but I think, a lot of times we take for granted that when we wake up that we have our right mind.
Amen.
And my, here I'm going to go to church again. My pastor, my bishop, he says this is like a slogan for him. And it wasn't until probably years after I had been a part of this church that when he said, you know what, I'm just so grateful to wake up with my right mind, because without it, I couldn't do any of the things that I do, from just swinging my legs off my bed to get up in the morning. So one of the things that I cherish most in life is the fact that I have my right mind. So that I can do the things that I want to do. Can any of you share with the audience of what drives you? What
Well,
drives
for me,
you?
it's my fear of being broke.
Hey, come on now.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I could live in that eternal state of brokenness. So I've always had a very entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm always trying to figure out, how to do more, how to get more, how to live better. So that's definitely what drives me.
Dawn, hear you say that. One of the things that drives me, first of all, I don't think I could ever go to jail. There's nothing that I want to, there is something about being incarcerated and not being able to do what I want, or just being in four walls. And this is all what I see on TV. I've never been in a jail cell. But I have told many of my friends and my family members, I cannot go to jail. And that is what drives me. That is what drives me to be a better person. I mean, I don't think there's anything in this world that I want to do that might take me to jail.
Right.
So that's what drives me, knowing that there's a jail or a life that would put me in that type of situation. Yeah.
What drives me is constantly reminding myself that I may touch somebody somewhere, and always remembering that somebody is watching, and they're inspired by you, and they're watching your moves and seeing what you do, and it can apply it to their own lives. And I've always had that thought in my head, and whatever I decided to do was that if I was able to touch somebody, then my purpose is fulfilled. So the thought of knowing that someone is inspired by you and myself is what drives me every day.
I'm not gonna put him on the spot too much, ladies and gentlemen, but I know you all don't know, but Jeffrey's one of our younger cast members. And when Jeffrey talked about being an old soul, I just want y'all to know that that's real. Okay, that he is definitely an old soul. I mean, and I'm not, I hope I'm not coming across as being insensitive about what you just said, but I mean, what you just said, it touched me just now, because I know that it came from your heart and that it's truth, and you are an old soul, Jeffrey. I'm sorry. Say that. Say that because I gotta say it. Say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how about you? What drives you?
I think what drives me is the fact that I am a black female, product of a single mother, who I was never told that I couldn't do something. And no matter what it was, I'm an artistic baby. I was as a singer and all of that, and I always have been. I started out dancing, modeling, and then singing, and it's been my life. And I am definitely motivated or driven by the fact that I get to do that. That I get to be an entrepreneur, that I get to be, a minority times 10. You know what I mean? And live the way that I do, and be able to, I always say, this doesn't have to be your life. With all the stuff, with all the dramas that we all have, because it's relative. Everybody has, something that if we could just get rid of that, my life would be even better. But there's, so many people that don't get to make a choice about their future, their career, or even to live a dream. And what drives me is that I'm in a position to work my dream. Making the choice to work the dream is sometimes the kicker, because everything,
They call
the
that
beat down.
procrastination. Right.
Yeah, or procrastination, or downright being, or the frustration of it all.
Right.
The frustration of doing the right things, being prepared, rolling up your sleeves, doing the homework, doing the research, and you can't get a break.
Right.
You know what I mean? That cannot drive you. But to be in the position to do those things, whether they pan out or not, is what drives me. Because somebody is somewhere doing something they hate and don't have a choice.
Exactly.
And that they can't be driven by that. You know what I mean? But so I'm grateful for that, because it can take you down trying to survive every day.
I get it. Michelle?
I would just say it was kind of to piggyback. I'm sitting there, I'm like, because I get it.
Yeah.
It's really just having the opportunity to be who you are and whoever it is that you want to be. One of the things that I'm most thankful for is the support of my family, and that's why I said my family earlier, because they were people who never said, you can't
do this. Right.
So whatever it is that I thought up I wanted to do, From I wanted to go to school, I wanted to be a teacher, then I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to do this, I wanted to sing, I wanted to play the drums, whatever it was, they said, do it.
Right.
And so, and that has been throughout my life. And even up to now, finishing the last school, it was like, great, do it. You know, so to have that support and just be in the position where you can, you're afforded that opportunity too, where so many are not. You know, it's just
how many people right now are, you know, I don't understand anybody say, you ain't never gonna be nothing, you ain't never gonna get nowhere, you can't sing, you can't, you know, and it's like, and already the seed has been planted, the doubt has been, you know, shoved down your throat, and I was never told that, never told that. So, and I didn't realize how important that was. You know, and days that I don't feel like it, let me tell you, being an entrepreneur is not for punks, okay? Working for yourself means you work even harder.
That's right.
You know, and there are days I'm the boss, and I'm the janitor too. Okay?
Exactly.
I'm the CEO and the mail girl. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And there and the decision
and
maker.
you get your own water. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay,
I
and
know.
all of that, and it's, you know, it can.
Drain
You know, and when people say, oh, you lucky, you work for yourself, I'm like, one day, I give you one day. One day in my shoes,
for one day.
with no benefits and no and no lunch hour and none of that.
And
you know what I
maybe
mean?
no pay.
Hey, anyway, so
For those of you who just heard what Sylver, this dialogue between Sylver and Rashad, please take heed. If there's someone in your life that's telling you that you can't be this and you can't be that and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, after you finish taking a good look at them, take a good look at yourself, okay? Because you are here on this earth to do whatever and anything that you want to do.
We are the United States of Women.
The United States of Women.
And when we do better, everyone does better.
You with us? Then listen up. This is our movement.
Turning struggle into strength.
We're not done. We're definitely not done.
We are the United States of Women.
The United States
Of women.
And we stand stronger when we stand together. Together, we got this. We got this.
Because I love you. I want to be your only guy.
Because I love you, skip class with me. Let's stay in bed today.
Because I love you, I just want to be with you so freaking much.
Because I love you.
I waited for you after Chem Lab.
You were walking with Mark?
Because I love you.
You shouldn't be hanging out with that dude.
You should know how dumb that makes me look.
I don't care if she's your lab partner.
Why do you have texts from him?
Because I love you. This number, delete.
Because I love you. This Jason number,
Delete.
And Ben,
Delete.
because I love you, I should smash your phone.
I'll let you give me your password instead. Because I love you.
I will check your texts every day.
You got lucky. Because I love you.
Because I love you.
You think it's okay.
Because I love you. You understand.
because I love you, you stop talking to your classmates and you feel completely alone.
Because I love you. That's not love.
So, panel members, I'm gonna switch it a little bit. What bad habits do you want to break?
Oh, wow. Procrastination.
Can you break it?
You have to make an effort.
Yeah.
It requires effort.
Yeah.
Because I can talk myself into doing it later all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's times where it's like I can't do it fast enough. But it depends on what it is. But I can laundry can get taller than you. You know, if I don't feel like it, you know. But procrastination for me, the gym, procrastination.
Okay.
You know, purging my closet, procrastination, getting rid of things I don't need, procrastination. And you know you need to.
Yeah, you need to.
You know what I mean?
Right.
and if I could break that habit, and also, if I might add, get a little bit more disciplined to disconnect and reconnect, like just to breathe and just to center, because we're inundated with craziness. We are body slammed with images and scenery and hatred and all the carryings on that are going on. And then there's this little undercurrent of happiness and love and all the good stuff. And there's not enough of that. You know what I mean? There's not enough of that.
So the habit that you want to break centers around procrastination in terms of making sure that all of that stays at bay, or managed.
Or managed.
Managed. How about you, Dawn?
And I was going to say, the habit that I need to break is I can be a little too hard on myself at times. Sometimes I allow my inner voices to just really, you know, oh, you should have done that better. You could have done that better.
I call it the committee, girl. The committee.
Yeah. And I really, really want to be easier with myself. Right. Be softer. Be gentler. It's okay to not be perfect all the time. Right. It's a concept very rarely achieved.
And would you say that, or did you say not being perfect all the time, would you say that's a part of your upbringing too?
I do.
Was that instilled in you that Dawn, you got to be this, you got to be that?
It absolutely was. Yeah. You know, as I mentioned earlier, growing up when I grew up, late 60s, early 70s, you know, black people, this indoctrination that we were raised under, you have to be 8 times as better, 10 times as better as everybody else. And I believe that you do, and it does motivate you, but it also has a tendency to make you harder on yourself, a little bit more critical. And so I'm just trying to learn to be a little bit softer with myself.
Jeffrey, Rashan?
Oh,
What bad habit would you break, Jeffrey? Or no, let me rephrase that. What bad habits do you want to break? Let me come back to the question.
Being a yes man. And I say that because being a mercy shower, where I give so much of myself, I seldom forget myself. And it took an outer influence to tell me that you do so much, you do this, you do that, you do that. When are you going to take time to do for you? And it may have just been like a joke. It would just say it jokingly, but I took that because I find myself a lot of times saying yes, and I spread myself so thin that I never take time for Jeffrey. There were things that I would do on the side, like in my spare time, that I don't see myself doing anymore. Because, oh, Jeff, you want to come here? You want to do this? You want to do that? Oh, Jeff, I need your help with this. And I'm saying, yes, okay, I got you. Yes, okay, I'm doing this. Yes, okay. And then I'm like, oh, wait.
Where did Jeffrey go?
Tomorrow is already here.
Right,
and what I planned for today, I put on the side because I'm thinking if I do this for them, they'll be pleased and I'm good and I'm happy. Because I usually find pleasure in helping others. Right. But I seldom forget to help myself. So that is one bad habit that I would like to break, is to learn how to say no and not feel guilty for saying no. And not hoping that me saying no is not that I don't want to. It's just I need to take time for self. So
I get that.
Cool. For me, I would definitely say it's being a little more patient. Well, how do I say this? The bad habit that I would break is not being as patient as I should with other people. So I find myself sometimes assuming that people should know certain things because I know it. And then I find myself getting impatient with them because I'm like, why don't you know this? This is something very simple. But everybody does not know. They have not been exposed to certain things. And that is one thing that I struggle with on a daily basis as I encounter people and situations, is just remembering that they may not have been taught something, or they may not have been exposed to something that you have. You've been blessed to have been shown something, or someone has shown you whatever it was, and you do know that thing, but this person may not. So it's really just to increase my patience is what I want to do, and break the bad habit of being so impatient with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I look back over my life, one of the things that I have dealt with, and there's somebody and some people who will watch this show who probably used to love me and will love me for saying this right now. I have an issue sometimes, I think, with tone.
Okay.
My tone and how I deliver things to people. I'm not going to make excuses for it, but Sylver knows, I'm a producer and I'm a director, and sometimes when you're on set and you're giving direction about certain things and that you need to have done, that's one thing. But when you get home,
right.
when you get home and you haven't really taken that hat off, and it's instilled in you, and you're talking to someone, I really have to work. One of the bad habits I have is not managing my tone when I need to manage it. And I know it, and I don't know if there's a support group for it, but I know that my tone gets me in trouble.
We
so
can start one.
If any of you are watching this, I've said it, okay? I've got it out, okay? So yeah, my tone is one of the bad habits that I like to change.
That's it, bruh.
Straight out. Straight out.
Put your legs straight out and cross them out.
Oh, come on, bruh.
Sit down. Stand up. Legs crossed. Legs straight. Hands up. Hands out. Shake it all about. On your knees. On your front. On your back. Lay still. Stand up. Lay crossed. Hands. Stop resisting. It may seem like the lyrics to the Hokey Pokey, but this is a list of commands you can often find issued by American police officers in their attempts to de-escalate a situation. In this example, the subject is a man sitting on a curb, calm, complying, doing his very best to somehow interpret a barrage of instructions coming from two officers who seem to be about on the same page as me and Dana Loesch. One officer orders him to extend his legs, another orders him to cross his legs. When he tries to comply with both, they pump him full of electricity. Now keep in mind this happened in Pennsylvania, the same state where 17-year-old Antoine Rose was just shot in the back and killed by Officer Michael Rosefeld, who, by the way, if you were just wondering, is patiently awaiting trial in the comfort of his own home after the judge granted him unsecured bail, meaning he had to pay nothing. Meanwhile, Meek Mill was denied bond for popping a wheelie. The judge literally had to break the law to offer Rosefeld bail, seeing as how the Pennsylvania Constitution states that in cases with possible life sentence, bail shouldn't be offered. But that's for another day. The point is, while some would like to blame police misconduct on a few bad apples or individual cases, this past week alone has proven that these examples are not isolated. They are happening at alarming rates across the country. Pennsylvania shows how frequently these incidents are occurring, yet most conservatives would rather debate just how compliant this man was, rather than face the blatant and obvious reality that sweeping comprehensive police reform is needed. Just think about it for a second. If this is what happens when someone is fully compliant, and this is what happens when someone flees from those who could potentially brutalize you for complying, where does that leave us? I'll tell you where. Right here. The same place where every American should be, protesting this injustice. Because as I have said till I'm blue in the face, this is why we kneel. Not to protest a song or a piece of cloth, the military, or even the man in the Oval Office. It's to say, hey, this isn't okay, people. So if you felt compelled to criticize the way Cap and other NFL players protested, then you better speak up on this, because this is just another example of why they knelt, and I am frankly sick to my back teeth of reporting on police abuse, so I can't even begin to imagine how sick those are who are subject to it on a goddamn daily basis. Really, come on, whether you claim to bleed blue or not, how can you watch this video and be so willfully ignorant to think it's alright, or say it's just procedure? All while white mass shooters are almost never apprehended with this level of violence, even after committing unimaginable atrocities. Enough with this shite already. Where is the civility here?
Okay, this is almost a spin-off of the last question, but what are the biggest actions you can take now to create the biggest results in your life?
Wow.
I would definitely say is to continue to educate yourself in whatever it is that you're doing. One of the things that it kind of frightens me that people have the mindset of, oh, I know it now, you know, and so they do nothing any further. And with the way life is, you know, everything is constantly changing. We have to constantly stay abreast of what's going on, but think what's the next step in order to stay relevant for ourselves, but in order to also keep our mind fresh on what's coming up next. So just to kind of continue to educate yourself.
And with that, I'd like to add more specifically even goal setting, just really being able to set very clear and concise goals for yourself. Really, maybe even deeper than that is having a vision for yourself. Sometimes just having the vision, getting to the vision is sometimes hard. So making sure you have a clear vision and then being able to set goals, realistic goals to achieve it.
Jeffrey?
One action I would say is learning the value of me time and learning myself. Because I feel like as long as we're on this earth, we're not done learning. We're not done finding out things that we never known about ourselves. So, and that's where me time comes into play, and actually taking time and date yourself. And
I
love
that. Can you say it again, Jeffrey? What did Jeffrey just tell all of you that maybe you need to do every now and then? Can you repeat that, please, Jeffrey? They need to do what?
To date yourself. And actually, and it may sound weird, but actually having a conversation with yourself, actually looking in the mirror and say, what do I want to learn today? What do I feel about myself today? How do I feel? Because sometimes looking at yourself and talking to yourself, you can empower your own self. You can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to finally send that email today. And that could be empowering enough. And it's just, you don't need like to hit send. You already wrote and edited like 5 times. Just hit send. You know, sometimes it doesn't take somebody to tell you, you know, to take some time to yourself. So I could go back from what I was saying, the bad habit I want to break is actually sometimes falling in love with yourself again. You know,
so
come on,
and
come on, Jeffrey, I might have to move.
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to call the producer and say, you know what, this seat I'm gonna move over and let Jeffrey sit here one time. I'm gonna sit over there. I'm gonna sit over there. Okay, Jeffrey, because you got me looking at you like this, Jeffrey. Okay, and I know you. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's funny.
I hope y'all listening to this man, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, because he's giving you a little bit of education. Okay, so please listen to what he's saying. Please.
It's the simple things, and it's sometimes the things that we forget that means the most.
The world.
And sometimes making that a big thing, making that small thing, well, looking at that small thing can make a big impact.
Big difference. How about you,
So you're saying, your question was, how?
My question, okay, now I'm going to have the producers to roll back a little bit because I want to make sure that I give Sylver the question that, can you scroll down a little bit more on the teleprompter, ladies and gentlemen, scroll back a little bit, and you want to make sure that she asked it right. Can you scroll down just a little bit more? I know my eyes are good, but there you go. Okay, what are the biggest actions you can take now to create the biggest results in your life? Thank you. Look, our camera people are just on time. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
The biggest action I can take to get the result. That's where I was trying to get, you know. Me personally, it is probably to exercise a lot more discipline of staying in my creative and a lot less administrative. That's very difficult for me. I've been trying to record a song for 3 days, and because of the administrative, I haven't done it. And I haven't done it because by the time I have talked on the phone and sent emails and reevaluated and gone back and explained my attitude, my energy, my voice, my thought process, my creative has been diluted and destroyed and watered down to the point that I am no longer effective to do what it is that I was brought here to do. and use the gift that way. You don't want me to do your taxes, okay? that ain't what you call me for.
Okay.
But if you want a show and a performance and a concert or to write a song or a jingle, you know, or to design some jewelry for you, that is what I do.
Okay.
So when I want to be able to say, okay, I've done my business for 2 hours, unplug, go, and now I need to go into this space. And it's very difficult for me, which speaks to the frustration that I mentioned earlier about you know, being in the positions that you're in, however grateful for being in the position. So I want to be able to separate that and not feel some kind of way when I do. Like, okay, there are times when I'll get up, and you know how we do. If you get up and breathe and pray and stretch, your day will start differently. If you get up and pick up your phone,
it's going. Yes. That's a whole nother beast. Yes,
and sometimes
exactly.
we wake up like, where's the phone? You ain't, you know, you haven't stretched your good leg yet, and you're on the phone. And that has set the tone of your day. And I am so guilty. I am painfully guilty of that every single day. And then it's time to record, and I'm like, I don't feel like I need a minute. I need a glass. You know, I
need a reset.
It's like, why did you do that? Today was off limits because you got to nail this song. You get one chance to nail this performance that you will live with forever once it is out there.
But you answered the phone.
But I answered the phone.
But you answered the phone.
But I answered the phone.
But you answered the phone.
Right, and now I'm having an argument with somebody, or anything. But yes, that's me personally. But I, you know, if I could knock that out, boy, I would get a lot more done.
Well, I want to talk about fears. I want to talk about fear because that's also something that we as people, artists, educators, parents, sons, daughters, uncles, nieces, nephews, whatever, we let sometimes fear can drive us in the wrong direction. So my question to you is, if you can name one thing, what would be your fear and why?
I'll say for me, it was a fear of failure. So while I always had a supportive family, it was dealing with the outside influences that fed that fear. So for years, like, I would never do public speaking because people would talk about the way I sounded as a young child. So it kept me quiet. Teachers that said, oh, you talk too much, kept me quiet. And so I had to go back and think about these things as I have now gotten older and said, you're still living with childhood fears. And once I was able to mentally break that, it allowed my world to open up to so much more. So I would definitely say, for me, it was the fear of failure that drove me with a lot of that stuff.
I'm not far behind you on that. The fear of failure would also, for me, equated to not having enough. you know, when you're in the artistic world, music world, acting world, and all of that, there are big, big highs and there are very low lows. And when you run out of money at the end of the month, and when you're, you know, waiting for the next gig or the next deposit or the next situation, whatever that may be, it's that fear of I'm not going to have enough to make it. I'm not going to have what I need to do what I need. And I have, you know, I go through that at periods. And I have to say, even though this might, you know, I have to say that as I watch the actor Jeffrey Owens, who, you know, was on the Cosby Show and this wonderful Yale graduate, and this Yale graduate and accomplished actor, and has, you know, once upon a time there was royalties and all those things, and now the man, you know, he's working and doing. Every single, hear me, we're at cameras. Every single artist goes through that. Every single one. Yes. There's not one that doesn't. Okay, maybe not Beyonce, but you know, Tina Turner. But I'm just saying. But you know, across the board, that's the norm. And you get to the point where, am I going to have enough to do what I need to do, or even fund what I need to do? Again, when you're an entrepreneur, you know what I mean. You paying for half of the stuff that you're doing, and having enough to do it and accomplish what you need to accomplish has always been, you know, a fear. Yeah, for me personally, because, you know, it's like it just feels like it could slip away from you with all the work, all the accomplishment. Like, case in point, right now, I've been in the business a long time, so I'm with a lot of people, right? Now most of my career is based on how many followers I have. Right. Has nothing to do with, do you care that I have a Grammy with Yolanda? Nope. Do you care that I have a platinum record?
I do. I do.
Do you care that I have a platinum thing on my wall for my work with Kid Rock, but can't get arrested? You know what I'm saying? And then there's, you know what I mean? It's the fear of, that doesn't matter today. Today it doesn't matter. Today, can I keep my lights on for whatever, even though I'm working and doing, you know what I mean? But it's the fear of not having enough to sustain what I'm doing as an entrepreneur, as a business, and the risk that you take to do that.
And that's interesting, because my fear is the opposite of that. I'm actually afraid of success.
Oh my goodness! I look. Okay, go ahead. Go. You go ahead and talk on that, because I'm gonna expound on that too. But you go right ahead.
You may have to, but I used to have this fear of making it, and then what? You've got to sustain it. And then it's difficult to sustain it. And then people around you change, or maybe you even change a little bit. And what is all that really going to look like and feel like? So I was always afraid of, you know, being successful and the pressure that even comes from that.
Wow.
I'm going to add on. I think, I feel like I'm a success story.
Absolutely.
And the reason I feel that way, because I had a fear of success. And if Frankie Madden is looking at this show right now, she walked up to me when I produced my first Congressional Black Caucus fashion show, and when they called me, I got chicken and said I didn't want to do it. And she looked at me and said, "Mr. King, you are afraid of success." She said, "You are afraid of what's going to come with it. What you're afraid of managing people." Now, this is a kid. I was as green as this plant. So I know what it means. I know how it feels to be afraid of success and then jump over whatever hurdle or bridge or whatever and meet people like Sylver and Rashan and Jeffrey and you and make it happen. So when people see me walk through a door now, a sponsor or something, I'm walking through there like, oh yeah, this is my brand and this is what I have to offer. Believe me, there was a time when I could not do that. I could not, because I was afraid of success. So I get it. I get it, sweetheart. I get it. Excuse me, Jeffrey, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back, because we need to, you know, get ourselves together, because our minds are just fried from what we've been talking about. We hope you've enjoyed it, but we're going to be right back. Thank you.
Music is everywhere, especially at my school.
Education Through Music Los Angeles partners with inner city schools to put music into the classroom, where music belongs.
Music is my favorite subject. My mom says it wakes up my brain. Math is kinda easier now. Next year I get to learn guitar.
Support our music programs. Please visit etmla.org.
Music is everywhere.
Thanks for keeping your mouth shut.
Thanks for minding your own business.
Come on, show me the good ones. Thanks for not telling my girlfriend. Say that to me.
Hi.
Thanks for not telling anyone.
When you do nothing, you're helping him. But when you do something, you help her.
Thanks for telling the bartender. Thanks for stopping him.
Thanks for telling HR.
Thanks for getting help.
Who will you help? Stop sexual harassment and violence when you see it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, close caption.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alvin King, and again tonight you are here watching We Speak. Who were your mentors in life, formal or informal? Well, it said that was what defines you. We asked that question already. That's what was there.
Have you ever therapy?
Oh, I couldn't see it.
Oh, yeah.
Can you come down some more?
Have you ever been to therapy?
Have you ever been? Oh, Lord.
Oh,
okay. That's good. I can see it. This next question is a question that seems to, from what I hear, haunts the black family. I don't know why, for the life of me, because it's no stranger to me. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you ever been to therapy? If no, why not? Have you ever, and why not, and have you ever thought about going?
Why everybody looking at me? I
already said it's no stranger in my life, but I want you all to answer that question, okay?
I'll start. No, I've never been to therapy. I don't think I had the coin for it. But
it's free now.
Oh, well, then never mind. I don't have the time for it. But no.
Okay, no.
I've never been to therapy, but because honestly, with them, to me, and not to take away from people that devoted their time, their money, and their passion into that field, but I feel like there's a lot of free therapy in nature. I feel like there's therapy all around us. Mm-hmm. I think we just don't stop and pay attention to it. Like for me, I make it a goal to go to the beach at least once a year. That's my release. That's my time to just look out into the ocean. That's just my time to just thank God for all that I have. Mm-hmm. Remember what I have, and just push myself to go on. Reflect on. I can't remember the art like in the order, but it's relax, reflect, release, or it's relax, relate, release. And I feel like the beach is my therapist, and I feel like sometimes it's a place, sometimes it's another person, sometimes it's your dog, your cat, but I look at it as some things that we can look at or we can remember where we find our release from can be therapy enough. Now, have I thought about it? Yes. But to me, it just feels so suit and tie. Like, what is your problem? Like, it just feels so structured. Sometimes I want to just let loose. Sometimes I just want to, take the clothes off, just go and just
there's
some therapists that would let you.
There's some therapy within that. Sometimes you just gotta drop. You gotta drop it and just be like and release.
Traditional approach to what it is,
So,
what therapy is perceived to be.
Right.
Because it would have you think that you have to sit and talk to a senior person that is in a tie who doesn't know anything about your lifestyle and then coach you on your lifestyle and in 1 hour.
Right.
And
Ding.
Right.
Right, like
it's not like
it's not like that.
Yeah,
okay, so
it's not like that
No,
anymore.
that's very TV therapy back in the day. It's not
and
real
that's
therapy.
also, you know, given how I was brought up. That's what I've seen. So I'm not, of course I don't know what goes on. So that's also another thing that I thought about. So in that same bracket, I thought about how would it go?
How would it go?
You know, he brought up a good point though when he said that's how I was raised.
Right,
And
exactly.
you said, you know, that we have a problem with this in the black community in particular. I don't know about other, you know, races or cultures or, you know, diverse, you know, energies, but we do. It's looked upon as something to be ashamed of while it is one of the most helpful tools. The key is to finding the therapy that works for you. It's not the same for everybody, the therapist and the type of therapy, right? Because somebody who worked for you may not give you the same anyway. I wasn't feeling it, but it works for me. I got, you know. So it's like finding a doctor.
Right.
It's like finding a treatment that works. It's like, you know, I can't say that I've had formal therapy. I've been to therapy sessions for one thing or another. And luckily for me, I have an amazing mother and partner. And my mother is a craniosacral energy medicine practitioner.
Wow.
So the things that you spoke of, she has it from an educated standpoint and a certified standpoint, as well as integrating, you know, some westernized treatments, as like, for instance, if you need to take medicine for acute situation, take it. You know what I mean? If you're just taking it because you don't want to feel, that ain't the reason to take it. You know what I'm saying? And there's the balance in there. And so I live in an otherwise therapeutic environment. So there's candles and there's fragrances and there's all kinds of things. And while that may seem commercial, it's what works for me. You know what I mean? And it gives me a sense of calming, the sense of smell, the sense of touch, the sense of, you know, what I'm listening to. Like I hardly ever watch the news, you know, especially now. I can't. I take it in very small doses and I never watch it before I go to bed. Never. I don't even want to hear an action movie when I go. I don't want to hear bombs going off and guns before I'm about to lay my head down. That's just me. But I've certainly thought about it more. But I think because for me, I live in an environment where, and it's not a traditional so much therapy as you think of, well, tell me your problem. You know, it's not that kind of therapy, but it is more about a reaching in, a listening to my body, listening to my brain, you know, pulling my breath in, and you know what I mean, and sort of, and I need it. I need it. So hopefully that answers your question. I can't say that I've sought out.
No, it answers.
You know,
it definitely answers the question. No, I get it.
I know you get it.
I get it. Yeah. Dawn, Rashad.
Okay, well, I would say, much like you, Sylver, it's not traditional therapy. And you all know I work in a hair salon, and that is a therapeutic environment. You know, where some people may not see it as a formal therapeutic environment, but it really is. It's an opportunity. Therapy for me is the opportunity to share and to bounce ideas off of someone. And so as much as my clients speak to me about what's going on in their life, my responses are often me talking to myself. And so it's that opportunity to offer something to someone else to help them, but their response or whatever it is may be in turn helping me. Like today I noticed with a coworker of mine, we have a therapy session, and she kept teasing me. She was like, oh, here's $1, and she comes to my office and she does that. And I was like, oh yeah, girl, she crazy. And you know, we go on, but I started to realize we have almost a daily therapy session. It is me releasing whatever is on me, her doing the same, but us talking each other through what's going on. And so it doesn't always have to be the formal, but you know, you can find it all around you, like you said.
And it also doesn't always have to be bad.
Absolutely
Just
not.
because you're having therapy doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You know, right? It doesn't have to be for a bad reason.
And I actually have had formal therapy.
Okay.
on a consistent and regular basis, and
That's
I've
so
done
smart.
group therapy as well as my son and I, and at the time my partner that I was with, his father, we had family therapy because we were going through a transition in our relationship, and it was really, I thought, very helpful to have that type of guidance as we were making that transition. And I think it is unfortunate that in the Black community, we sometimes stiff arm that whole, concept of going to therapy, because for me, I knew that I grew up in a dysfunctional environment. Sorry, family, no disrespect to my family, but I didn't really have tools, and I knew that I wanted to give my son a little bit more guidance in those areas and better coping skills than I was even equipped to give him. And so that's what therapy really was able to do for me. Give you a different perspective, give you an opportunity to talk in a safe environment. It really helped with problem solving. And for me, I have a tendency to not be a very good communicator in relationships. So the therapy was really an opportunity to help me work through some of those issues. So it really worked out for me.
I love what you said, because you are opening a door to dispel the myth for Black families in particular. When you said you took your son or your relationship and the different types of therapy, that is so healthy and so smart, because we also live with the notion that we can just figure it out and we don't need no help.
Yeah, no, I needed help.
And why? I don't know. I can't fix a carburetor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why should I? Because I can drive doesn't mean I can fix the car.
Right.
So the same way you would take care of that is the same way you should take care. That is so smart. I admire that. I admire that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end the show tonight, and this is just part one of the personality test. From the feedback that we've gotten from all of you, we've decided to do a part two. So our next show will be the personality test part two, and we hope that you will join us when we come back again. As always, we thank you for watching and ask that you join us again when next we speak.